Hi, everyone. I'm back. I want to thank you for being here, for bringing your energy, um, and for your patience. I actually sat down to do this reading, and then I heard the great sacrifice, and uh, it like shook me, right? It shook my core. And I can still feel the vibration of it, um, which usually it's a very familiar vibration as to when I channel. Um, so I was asking, like, the sacrifice. Oh my God, like something, that word for that to shake me so deeply, right? I was like, where is that coming from? What does that mean? And the first thing that stands out to me is the fault line. Um, but at the same time, it's like the sacrifice, right? There was a time or a moment or an experience, and I'm not sure if this was past life. It may be linked to past lives and was brought into this lifetime. But there was a moment where we swallowed the poison. We swallowed the poison because it was for for the better of those around us, right? So it um it's a time when we sacrifice ourselves in a way to save others. A time when we have known of an injustice, right? We knew of an injustice. We felt it. We knew the truth, but maybe the truth would cause um, the earth to quake. And perhaps it may have hurt the innocent, or even some to maybe stay alive, right? Like I feel that whistleblower type of energy, but it's deeper than that because in this, it's like the wheel has turned, the wheel of destiny has turned in favor of those who have either been sacrificed or who have sacrificed themselves in some way, right? It's like those who are um, persecuted for their faith, for their belief, for the truth that they stand up for. Um, I feel like this crooked banker and this car problem card that came out had first stumped me, right? Because now I see where whatever this energy of sacrifice is, it caused problems moving forward. It caused a stagnancy, a feeling stuck, right? And it was because of what of this crooked banker. Okay. Now, the crooked banker is someone who will access the currency of others through manipulation, lies, deceit, um, through creating injustices, right? It creates an imbalance, an injustice, and it's hidden. It is usually cloaked, right? Um, in goodness, in a sort of false light, which is interesting because the last video was on, or I don't know if I posted it here, but I know I posted it in a private group, clearing that false light. And I have this energy coming forward that's saying this crooked banker going down with the rest of them, right? So those who, and for the word sacrifice to have hit so strong, it's those who were closest to us, right? Perhaps those that we trusted fully, those that we had allowed ourselves to become vulnerable around, and with those who we opened ourselves up to in trust, and never suspecting, because of this cloak, this false light that they were presenting and emanating, we never would have expected this to become a betrayal, for our confidences to become betrayed, and in some instances, even twisted and contorted and used against us, in order to say, not just dim the light, right? But to dim it so much so that it is not seen, it is not heard, the warmth of it is not felt. And it's like those moments where, they say not everyone can be wrong, not everyone can be crazy, not everyone can be ABC. And yet you see the poison, you see the deceit, you see the conspiracy, you see the lie behind the veil. And perhaps because it is so many, we've questioned, are we crazy? Like, can everybody be wrong? Like, I mean, I kind of got a point. But then there is this time where we wake up and say, no, everyone is crazy. I know I'm right. I know I'm right. Why am I the only one that can see this, right? So it leads into this swallowing of this poison, um, and multitudes of reasons, right? Um, where we may have walked away and said, they'll find out, or they'll see it for themselves, or it's not worth the fight, right? We woke up and we realized it's not to fret and fight the small stuff, that in the grand scheme of things, this was just one moment in time. And though I feel like it may have been a long period of time to heal, right? To tap back into that inner sight, to have that moment of righteous anger where, like, by God, no, I'm not swallowing this poison anymore. I'm not holding this truth back. I'm not going to allow myself to be squeezed into a box of illusions. And we decide to walk away, to take our power back, to start calling our power back, to start remembering who we are, and we heal those deep historical wounds, right? And in doing that, there is a revealing. There is a revealing of the cause, right, of those wounds. There is a revealing of this sacrificial moment where perhaps we walked away from everything, or everything was suddenly, taken. Everything we had trusted, everything we had relied on had been flipped around, right? The rug had been pulled out. Um, and I feel like some of this truth has really begun to be exposed, like maybe in ways that we really didn't expect. And just in that exposure, maybe I'm trying to feel, this is like really close energy, really deep rooted, um, yeah, familial, ancestral energy. And it brings this deep activation, right? Where joy and laughter, it's like there's become a freedom. There has been some moment of healing where this wounding has been brought out, right? Where it says it gets a surprise airing, right? Perhaps we're allowed to voice our thoughts on that, but it's like a surprise breath of fresh air. It's almost like I feel like speaking to someone. Maybe I'm worried about how they're going to perceive this, but there's a surprise airing. It brings healing, it brings joy, it brings laughter, it brings freedom from these past karmic ties that would have robbed us, or that had robbed us of our light, right? Had robbed us of our currency, our energy. Um, and it says matters are regulated by law, the underworld, that which you do not see, right? I think about the grubs that we had to clear from our property that were just eating the roots of everything fresh we were planting. And that, you know, this is in a place where there are laws, there are walls, there are boundaries that are too tight, that they do not allow for the freedom, the retelling of the ground, for the air to be brought in, the life to be brought in. It's like they're, hmm, this is embracing true love and deep, intimate friendships, making choices from the heart, vibrant health, or recovery from an illness. This is that moment of swallowing the poison. Maybe there was nothing could be done legally. Um, but I'm hearing you were the light, right? You transmuted this. We have been able to move forward regardless. It was this crooked banker. It was this betrayal, this sacrifice of our energy, right? Of giving and giving and giving our energy out for, you know, the betterment of others and kind of at the detriment of ourselves. It puts, it's like a energy of self-sacrifice, right? It can permeate through our manifestations even after walking away, even, you know, through that healing process. We begin to develop this belief, right? Love is sacrificing, right? And then we come into a place where we're healing that wound and realizing that love is not sacrificing, right? That true love comes and goes and ebbs and flows and moves, right? In a balance and harmony and peace between giving and receiving. And it's in this process where the light within us is able to shine forth. There is a divine shifting the energy for you, right? So the divine comes in and shifts that energy, and it causes a fault line in this underworld, right? So it has shaken the ground and the underworld has become exposed. And this with the Queen of Wands, right? She has that passionate charisma. She has that spark of life. She is intuitively tapped in. She knows how to go with the flow, right? Um, she's one who believes in herself, who does not underestimate her ability to make her dreams come true. So somewhere along the lines in the sacrifice, there was a moment or an energy that underestimated the power of who you were, the power of your silence, because during that time where we swallow that poison, it's like Shiva swallows that poison, holds it in his throat, to transmute that, right? To bring the light into it, the light of love, right? The light of truth and clarity and peace and wisdom and harmony, all of this. There is no speaking, there is a silence, right? And so there was an estimation of that silence while the divine was at work within us, shifting that energy, which has now caused a fault line where we are called to stand in the power of who we are in that light, to bring and birth forward our dreams, our passions, our desires, to come forward boldly and confidently in our expression of that light, to truly put the past to rest, because there is no more sacrifice, right? It's stepping into that divine flow where giving and receiving happen simultaneously. Hmm. And then we have restitution for the mystic and temperance. It is that alchemy, right? It is taking that past, this sacrifice, this poison, alchemizing it into something that brings restitution, reward for all of the hard work, for holding that poison and transmuting it, for not speaking until it was love, right? For not judging, for walking away. It was very hard to walk away. This could have been through divorces, separation of those that we, those family bonds. Um, could have been legal contracts. Mm, uh, it's a divine inheritance being brought down into this realm, manifesting in this realm. We have the starborn outshining the fake. So the false light has been cleared. The angels are bringing in a powerful transformation. It is taking these two energies, bringing them together, alchemizing them through self-control, patience, balance, and this starborn. It is having always known that you were destined for something greater. And indeed, you are. You are. I just want to see what energies from this sacrificial energy that stopped forward movement, that stopped the transformation, this crooked banker, that stealing of our energy, of our life force, of our essence, of our destiny. I'm hearing you can't really steal destiny, but the attempts of it, right, to change the destiny of someone else for your own self gain, um, causing great pain. There was a great pain in having to walk away, but it was truly, someone, I was saying this earlier this week, that sometimes there just has to be someone who is willing to walk away from the fight, right? To, to just get out of the ring, because it's like someone wild, out of control, and you just have this moment of awakening where it it's just vanity. It's just useless. It's foolish to stay in that energy. You realize that it is so much bigger than you. Like, I hear these people have problems way bigger than me, right? Like, as big as this felt, as painful as it may have been, there was a whole lot more at play. Identity crisis. Yeah, it may have caused for a while some questions about who we are in this life and what our purpose is, right? Or I don't know what this person is wearing on their face. It's some kind of, it looks like a shattered mirror, like they're looking at an image in the mirror that has been shattered, and it's caused a lack of direction or purpose. may have made some question your values, your beliefs. Yeah, when everyone around you is saying you're crazy, you're wrong, you're bad, you're this, you're that, right? When everyone is saying it, and then there's that voice that says, well, everyone can't be wrong. There comes these questions about, well, am I wrong? Like, what have I done? Like, who am I? Am I crazy? Right? Am am I really the bad guy? Um, Kind of makes you wonder, who you were fighting the whole time. It was a time where you literally, just to save, I hear, save the lives of others, right? To save the peace, um, to keep others from being even more damaged than they were. Um, Even yourself, right? Where it was just time to get out. Um, so it's really having found and reconnected with that purpose, maybe perhaps one that we felt since childhood, where we knew, but then we had this identity crisis. We had to go within, right? We had to go into the underworld and seek out the light within the shadows, right? To be the light in the dark. And it was that power, it was that moment of going in, of surrendering, of letting go, and, biting our tongue and just walking away from the fight that became that fault line. It just broke the earth open. I hear being set free, like you are set free. Um, this is very volcanic energy too. It's almost explosive, with the fault line and the Queen of Wands and that divine shifting the energy, the angels bringing a powerful transformation. This is like unexpected, right? Unexpected surprises. Um, what other energies have been healed through this? Fault line and underworld, what other energies have been healed? Let's see what other energies have been healed. Oh, the inner teenager, yeah, that reactive abuse, that explosive temper, that really had the inner teenager, you know. Anger, right? A lot of times we will hold that anger in because we feel it is wrong. We're trying to be the better person. We're trying to, transmute that energy, and we feel as though letting it out, right? Um, would somehow make us less than or unworthy. But there is a sort of righteous anger, right? There is this sort of anger that propels us, that pushes us to um, break free, right? To to climb the fence, to go through the wall, to just break free of it, of that toxicity, of that reactive abuse. Um, it's that emotional and physical aggression that can come through in a defensive and impulsive way, right? It is impulsively reacting to those emotions. I hear accusations. Maybe it caused confusion, guilt, shame, But it's like when I saw this, Spirit was showing me that it was this energy, right? It was like coming out of this identity crisis, this energy, this fiery, maybe it was anger, right? And maybe it was overreactive or impulsive, but it propelled this inner teenager to break free. It may have looked like rebellion, but something told us, right? Something told us to get the hell out of Dodge, right? To walk away from it all, to just go forward, to trust that voice within, even when every other voice around us was saying, you're crazy, you're wrong, you don't have what it takes, you don't know the truth, right? You don't know what's good for you. I know better than you, right? um it really brings us into this energy also of trust, right? Because then who do you trust once you break free? Who do you trust? And it is learning to trust in that divine in us, both masculine and feminine, to bring those together in harmony, in the silence, right? While we're in the muck and the mire, while we're still trying to rid our world of the grubs that would steal our light, that would steal our essence, our currency. Hmm. And the fault line, the divine shifting the energy for us, the fault line with the Queen of Wands. Um, well, she may have been the one that was a bit explosive and impulsive. Yeah. Yeah. So there was that explosive anger probably that came out. Maybe it was misdirected. A lot of times the mystic can be misunderstood also because they are transforming. They're not only transforming themselves and alchemizing their experience in a way that brings balance, right? First, there is that imbalance. First, there is that explosion. Impulsiveness. Impulsiveness about what? Impulsiveness. I mean, it could be shopping. I mean, it could be gambling. Yeah, look at that. Risk fell out. So gambling, right? Not thinking about the next move, taking the risk without consideration for the consequences. Would it be a consequence? Would it be a reward? Would it hurt myself? Would it hurt others? Um, you know, how is this going to manifest? The Queen of Wands, she's a master manifester, but left unbalanced and uncontrolled with no container, no boundaries, she can really do some damage, be very impulsive. It's like that energy also, this teenager, there may have been a time where it almost looked like a death wish, like that no fear was taken to the max. It was taken to the level. It was that thrill-seeking energy, right? That adrenaline rush could have been present also. Risk, impulsive risk. Hmm. and the mystic, bringing balance and alchemy, harmonizing, you know. I hear when it's like being misunderstood and allowing our silence to speak for us, right? We begin to meet and come into a connection with those who have learned to hear the whispers between the words, right? Reading between the lines, to read the frequency, the vibration, to tune into the heart. Yeah, it was a risk. It was a risk to break free from this. This is non-conformity, right? So it may have felt crazy for a while. It may have looked impulsive and risky to others, and they may have wanted, a little more conformity, but that teenager broke free somewhere and caused a crack in the earth. It's causing structures to crack and crumble. The power within us. It's a time when we're called to recognize the power within us, to recognize that it was our light the whole time, that even in walking away, there was an imprint of our light in this experience. There was an after effect. Definitely. It's shook some worlds, but from the word sacrifice that I got, it shook your world. It shook my world. I've had experiences like that. I won't even act like I haven't. It's caused the mystic to stretch, to grow. That's, when we stretch, when we grow, we're stretching and expanding past our comfort zone, right? Those boundaries that we've become comfortable in moving in are now being stretched and pulled and expanded. And there can often be some pain in that, right? Yeah, Spirit says, yes, yes. But it brings balance, because to shrink ourselves based on whatever this energy was, our light has to shine. You know, we can contain so much of it, but there's a point where that light must break free. It must be able to expand. Alchemizing. People realizing who you are, not just who you are, but who you have always been. It's almost like this mystic, right? This butterfly has been freed through this fault line. Restitution, payment for your captivity, payment for your oppression, payment for the sacrifice that you had to make, payment for those who sacrificed you for their own self-gain, for their own public image, I'm hearing. Wow. I don't know what that is. For their own public image. Oof. Okay. The star one, shining. Okay, so the starborn is outshining, um, out having fun, meditating, friends, family, getting in touch with nature, having that best buddy, right? That can go out and have fun with you. This is a time to really enjoy. Um, this is a time, this is legacy type of information. Legacy type energy. It is having everything you need and more. And the Ten of Pentacles doesn't come on a whim, right? It may have been a gamble to break free, to take these risks. It may have looked impulsive. But it was in that risk, in that moment of passion, where we felt that knowing that there was something greater, there was something more, and we broke free. And we went through the process of being misunderstood and brought balance and alchemy into our lives. We received that opportunity and we did not question it. We learned to juggle the internal and the external, the feminine and the masculine, to work together with others, to build those solid foundations, to break free of this consciousness of lack, of unworthiness, where we became generous with ourselves, right? Generous with others, that we learn to give and receive. Because for someone who is given to the point of sacrifice and needing to just screw it, walk away from it all, take that risk to break free, right? Then we overextended. Perhaps feeling unworthy to receive, but then having to learn, and having learned to give and receive, right? Learning to receive help, to ask our guides in the universe and those around us for their support, to let our intentions be known, our questions be known, to see through the false light. To see those who would back up words with it, with action. Oh, this is going to be backed up. I'm feeling it in the physical. This is physical. Wealth, resources. It is recognizing the power within us is older than time, and allowing that divine light to break through and shine in our manifestations, outshining the illusion. Somewhere someone sees you. Somewhere someone sees this transformation. Somewhere, someone sees it. There was a great imbalance. You're breaking through their projections. Huh. It's breaking free of the projections. It's recognizing that a lot of this false belief was projected onto you. It's seeing through the illusion. It's taking a hike, relocating. Like I said, like getting the hell out of Dodge, you know? But someone is seeing now that their projections, huh, it's almost like it made you stronger. All that time of biting your tongue and biding time while you're healing and moving through the motions and discovering the underworld, right? That light was growing. It was pulsing. It was pulsing, right? It was destined. It was destined to break free. It was destined to cause this fault line, this crack in someone's beliefs, someone's psyche, someone's ego is being, fear of death, this authority, whoever this is, they're afraid. There's whatever this crooked banker is, whoever this was that took advantage of or stole your energy, your time, your love, your belief in yourself, your ability to know who you are, whatever this was, this authority, this structure, it's like they're afraid of the ending, of paying restitution. This may be legal matters, actual legal matters. It may actually be legal matters attached to the heart over being a victim, being set free from the illusions of childhood. Huh? Listening to spirit. This has gone back to childhood. Yeah. Trust. Trust in the divine. Trust the wind, right? This is flying high. This is flying above. It is rising above. The phoenix doesn't question the ground below it when it is called to rise. Mm. Don't worry about what you look like. It's being called into a place of leadership. There are people who are looking for direction, and it's this breakthrough. It's this breakthrough that puts you in a place of leadership now. The old leadership is dying and falling away, that which does not serve us. Don't worry about what you look like. Don't allow this identity crisis into this next phase. Allow the beauty within you to be what you see, not this broken image, right? See how it's a shattered mirror and this mirror is clear? It's like being able to clearly see the beauty of who you are and allowing that to be what is reflected. There's been a lot of healing done. Yeah, forgiveness of the inner child, right? The martyr, the eternal victim, the eternal sacrifice, right? It's letting that go, finding peace, using your voice now to speak healing, over this betrayal, to bring in rejuvenation of that spirit and belonging, to release the anger, to build, right? That anger was building those burdens. Look at that, that's self-image. So it's that broken self-image, right? That caused the burdens to build up and become that explosive energy that caused us to take that leap, to take that risk, to trust in the divine, to break free from the conformity of the old rulership that is terrified of this transformation that created these projections. This could be, your matriarchal, patriarchal, familial authorities, probate courts, um, you know, uh, it could have been, a broken marriage type of situation, divorce, a breakup of some sort in families. God, it feels freeing. It really feels freeing. It's like breaking free, never having expected any of it to return, and definitely never having expected that when it did return, that it would bring in this restitution, this rejuvenation, and not just spiritually, but in the physical form, right? Healing those family bonds and roots, healing that child within, right? Setting that star within us free, outshining the fake. It's like you don't even have to do anything now. People see your light is real. They see the power of the light because there's a fault line in the earth now. This is a time for celebration, for recognizing and honoring the light within us, to put those old karmic ties to rest once and for all, you know, to allow our light to expand, to step out in this new us, right? Unbroken, clear, focused, knowing our mission, knowing our purpose, knowing our passion. Yeah. And we have the Ace of Wands, right? A beautiful new emotional experience, a romantic relationship or deep friendship, awakening of psychic abilities or spiritual insights, a love letter, a new home. It's deepened this love, right? It's a deepening of these relationships which have had healing, right? it's also it's also a good time to call in that healing. There's so much energy here that it wouldn't take much. If there's any healing that needs to be had or done, any residual clearing, setting those intentions. This is pure love. This is source energy coming in. It's an awakening energy. It's like you awakening these connections also. It may be new family, it may be friends, it may be lovers. Those relationships with the divine, our ancestors, guides, angels. It's like a deepening of the love. It's like pouring this love into this fault line now, because that ground is dry and cracked and wounded. And this mystic, this starborn is not. This is balance. This is harmony and peace. This is manifesting balance and harmony. It is manifesting long-term, lasting, generational wealth and abundance. It is manifesting, we think of long-term wealth and abundance like we think of, oh, winning, the $1 billion lottery, right? That would bring in long-term generational wealth. But it is also in that which we build, in those connections which we make. So even those connections with others, right? Those foundations, those businesses, those homes, things like that, that will last, that will not fade and crumble, right? That are built on a strong foundation. And it's having worked very, very hard by yourself at times for a long time. It has been a long study of the self, is what I feel. Mm. Oh, all right. Well, um, I think that's pretty much it. We will get a message from our kitties, and I have this mug that it's not a mug, but this little pot that keeps staring out at me. It says, "For every evil under the sun, there is a remedy, or there is none. If there be one, try and find it. If there be none, never mind it. It's not fretting the small stuff." I just realized I had that sitting there. Knowing when to let go, when to walk away. It's having learned and recognized that we have learned and saying we don't need this lesson anymore. But allowing that experience to bring healing to others too. This transformation, this experience was not for nothing. There was a purpose in that, because there are those who are looking for the inspiration and the motivation to break free of the confines they're in. And you're being positioned in such a way, and a powerful way at that, that who you are now brings healing. A lot of people might not even understand how you survived it all, how you made it through. when so much seemed to be working against you, when you appeared to be blind, right? Okay, we have intuition. Meet Ghost Kitten. She is the light within us that helps to guide us through our life. She is always beckoning us to enter our inner world, to dig deep and to meet her there. If you are quiet, you can hear her whispering to you, perhaps about a creative project or a person you should reach out to, or even leaving a stifling job. Play with what makes her whispers louder and clearer for you. Maybe it's meditation or sleeping enough or taking a shower. Experiment with following your intuition and notice what magic unfolds. Something to be said when you have an intuition and this energy, and everything around you seems to put it out, seems to defy it, and moving into an energy where you see now the power of your intuition, that you see now that you were right. You never were broken. It was not you, but you utilized the energy that was given to break free. Now knowing that that intuition guides us to stand forward courageously, boldly, and balanced, tamed the beast now, right? To help bring healing to others. Mm, yeah, I think so. That is good. All right. I think that's it. I appreciate you guys for hanging out with me. Um, I really do. I'm not gonna do any more cards. I'm gonna let you guys go. I think I kept you long enough. I hope this resonated with some of you and helps bring some clarity. Definitely get out there and have fun and celebrate this moment, because this is your time to shine. The wheel has turned in favor of the divine, and you are being rewarded in probably an unexpected, surprising, and even magnificent way. Um, so be open to the unexpected. I love you all. I will talk to you soon. Thank you. Peace.